G'day guys, what's going on and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are doing our 2024 AFL ladder predictions. Let's not waste any time and get straight into this video. And starting off with, for the Wooden Spooners, the 18th position, I have the North Melbourne Kangaroos. The North Melbourne Kangaroos are a team that have a little bit of potential. But even though they have that potential and a couple of good players, they've lost Jack Siebel and Ben Cunnington. They're retired, which is not very good for them. But they have a lot of potential. Young kids from the draft, Harry Sheezel, and a couple of others. But they have been in the bottom two for the last 3 years, which is not very good. And I reckon they'll get in the bottom two again, the bottom one, and finish 18th. Moving on to 17th, I have the Essendon Bombers. The Bombers are a side that if they want to be good, they'll be good. But if they don't bother, they're going to lose by 126 points to a team like the GWS Giants. And almost lose to the probably the worst side in 2023. I reckon North Melbourne are worst, but a lot of you guys will say that West Coast were the worst side in 2023, but they almost lost to West Coast in a 1-point thriller for the Essendon Bombers. And also, no, that's not the biggest loss in history, but at the start of the season, like halfway through the season, 15, 16, 18 games in, I reckon, 18 or 17 games in, they were 6th on the table looking to make finals. Then at the end, they dropped off very badly. In round 23, they lost by 126 points to the GWS Giants. Then in round 24, lost by 70 points to the Collingwood Magpies. I just don't reckon they'll have a good year and they'll drop off a lot. Moving on to the 16th place on the table, I'm going to say the Freo Dockers. The Dockers, my rival. Let's see. They didn't really... They looked like a top 4 worthy side in 2022. 2023, they dropped off, finishing in the bottom 5. 2024, I reckon they're going to finish in the bottom 3. The reason is losing some of the best players, Lachie Schultz and Liam Henry. Schultz is a massive one. Henry, not so much. Henry is a big one because he's scored like 30 goals last season, I think, for it. But not as big as Lachie Schultz, because Lachie Schultz, the set play person, is to the Collingwood Magpies, which is not very good for the Dockers. Good for me, because I hate the Dockers. But I reckon the Dockers will drop off even more than they did in 2023 and finish 16th. Moving on to 15th. It was actually a choice between West Coast and Richmond, but I chose West Coast, seeing as I reckon Richmond will be a way better side. The West Coast Eagles, Wooden Spooners. Last year, we shouldn't have finished Wooden Spooners. We should have beat Essendon, and we should have beaten Saints. But sadly, we didn't win both, which was very sad. We got robbed. It came to the last match of North Melbourne season. And if we beat the Adelaide Crows, we could have beating them at 3/4 time. No, it was a tie at 3/4 time, I think. Then we ended up losing by 48 points. They had about 24 behinds in that game. It was horrible for the West Coast Eagles. But they do have a lot of squad depth. And they do have a lot of good players that could hopefully have a good season for the Eagles. Like Oscar Allen, he'll be right there on the screen. Like Oscar Allen, Tim Kelly, and the one and only Harley Reid. Harley Reid, hopefully he lives up to the hype. I reckon he actually will. I reckon he'll compete. But if he doesn't, that will be very sad. But the West Coast Eagles, my Eagles, I reckon they'll have a good year and finish 15th and win at least 8 games. Moving on to 14th. The Richmond Tigers. after their 3 premierships in 4 years. Yeah, 3. Yeah, 3 and 4. They won 3 premierships from 2017 to 2020. So from the 2017 AFL season to the end of the 2020, they won 3 flags. 2017, 2019 and 2020, which was pretty good for the Richmond Tigers. Then they just dropped off massively. Last year, I think they finished 12th or 13th. Dusty had a decent year, nowhere near his best year. Tom Lynch didn't have the best year. The side is just, everyone's putting them low on the ladder. Last year, people were putting them in the 8, but they've just underperformed so bad, which isn't very good for the Tigers. But I reckon they'll have a pretty good season for them and finish 14th. Moving on to 13th. I'm going to go with the Geelong Cats. Geelong Cats losing Isaac Smith and Joel Selwood. Selwood was a big one, their former captain. And then Isaac Smith scoring a lot of goals for the Geelong Cats. Not very good for the Cats. But I reckon they'll still have a relatively good year and finish 13th. Moving on to 12th. Now, I reckon I had the choice between 2 teams for this. I would have either had Gold Coast Suns in this spot or St Kilda Saints. But I chose Gold Coast Suns. I reckon the Gold Coast Suns with Damien Hardwick will finish 12th. Look, Damien Hardwick is a great Richmond manager. He was. But I reckon it will take him at least 2 years to reach the finals with the Suns. Took Miller, Lukosius are very good players for the Suns, and then them losing maybe a Chol to the Hawks, which wasn't very good to them. Other than that, I reckon the Suns will have a decent year for the Suns. Get close to making finals. Moving on to 11th. The St Kilda Saints. Luke Ultra, Cardman22, and Mr. Saints fan Saints will finish 11th, in my opinion. Not have the best year, but not have the worst. Almost finishing mid-table, which is good for the Saints. They shouldn't have made. They were lucky they got a home final last year. They were so lucky. They only got like 0.25% above in percentage. They got lucky. I don't reckon they should have had that home final, and the Giants should have. I thought they were going to finish like at the end of the season in the last 4 games. I reckon they were going to lose a lot of them and finish 12th. I thought they were going to finish 12th at the end of the season, but they ended up finishing 6th. Moving on to the Western Bulldogs in 10th. The Western Bulldogs, Blaze 17, and a couple of other YouTubers. But the Western Bulldogs with their Marcus Bontempelli, who I think can win the Brownlow, are a very good side that if they want to perform, they'll perform for you. They can live up to being the best side in the league if they want to. Not the best, but one of them. And I reckon they'll put up a really good fight in 2024 and finish 10th. Moving on to the team just missing out on finals, 9th. Jaden O'Callaghan's Footy Stars, Adelaide Crows. Adelaide Crows HQ, I think his name is. His Adelaide Crows. Their Adelaide Crows, because Footy Stars go. Their Adelaide Crows, I reckon they'll finish 9th. Just missing out on finals. The reason is, I just reckon they won't carry over teams like Port Adelaide, Hawthorn, Sydney, and the Giants. I reckon the Adelaide Crows will have a really good year, but won't make finals. Rory Laird, Tex, and a couple of other players, Jordan Dawson, they won't carry him all the way to the finals. Moving on to the 8th, the team just making finals. This is a bit of a big call. I don't reckon any of you guys would like this. 8th, the Port Adelaide Power. Port Adelaide Power, they were a top 4 side in the past year. It's in 2020 they were. 2019 I think they were. 2021 they weren't, I don't think. Then 2022 they might have been. But they could have won the grand final in 2023. But obviously, the Giants side are way too strong for them. The Port Adelaide Power, the Adelaide Crows rivals, I don't reckon they'll have a good year with Junior Rioli and a couple of other guys. I don't reckon they'll have a good year. Scott Lycett retiring. And yeah. 7th. Now on Mr. Saints fan, Jaden O'Callaghan's old channel, and Coach Club, I said that the Hawks will finish top 7. And in my little predictions, they're finishing 7th. The Hawthorn Hawks, the youngest squad in the league. They have John Newcomb, Luke Bruce isn't that young, James Sicily, and a lot of other players that can, if they want to perform, they are going to perform. The Hawks should have finished higher than 16th last year. I reckon they could have finished top 10. I reckon they were worthy of finishing 10th in 2023. But I reckon they'll make the finals in 2023 and finish 7th with their squad depth and how good their players perform. And the younger squad, the most potential they have there. Now, moving on to 6th, arguably the most OP squad in the league, Sydney Swans, Errol Goulden, Brodie Grundy. Who's the other guy? Who got traded there? Joel Hamling did, and then who's the other guy? Oh no, it'll be on the screen. I forgot. How did I forget that while filming a video? But yeah, Sydney Swans battering the West Coast Eagles by 171 points in a very sad loss for me last year. But the Sydney Swans will have a really good year with their OP squad. Losing Lance Franklin was a big one, but it's okay. I reckon they'll still make top 6. Top 6. Moving on to the 5th spot, the Giants, the Greater Western Sydney Giants. Toby Green, Stephen Coniglio, Josh Kelly, and a lot of other players that can make a big impact to the 2024 AFL season. Toby Green finishing 4th in the Coleman Medal in 2023. Stephen Coniglio doing pretty good. And they have a lot of other players that can make a big impact, and that will get the Giants to make finals. But other than that, the Giants are going to be they could make top 4. I reckon that they're worthy of making top 4. But I reckon that the other teams are just too strong for the Giants. Moving on to 4th, Formula Finesse's team, Skipper's team, the Carlton Blues. Carlton, they have a great player, Paddy Cripps. Jack Silvani out for the year. Not for the year, but he's injured. I think he's out for the season. But it's not very good for the Carlton Blues. But they're still a top 4 worthy side. Making the prelim finals in 2023, losing by 15 points, or 18 points I think it was, to the Brisbane Lions. But other than that, the Carlton Blues will have a very good year and finish 4th in my opinion. Moving on to the 3rd, the Melbourne Demons, Max Gawn, Christian Petrarca, Angus Brayshaw, Jack Billings, a new addition to the side, who will be an absolute star for the Melbourne Demons. Ben Brown. And a lot of other players that are arguably the best players in the league. They have some of the best players in the league, and they have one of the best teams in the league, even though going out in straight sets 2 years in a row. They're still worthy of doing it. They'll still have a good year and finish top 3 in my opinion. Moving on to the second. Jeff Moe. Your Collingwood Magpies, in my opinion, will finish second. Nick Dacos, Josh Dacos, Mason Cox, Jamie Elliott, that's the guy I was thinking about. Lockie Schultz, new addition to the side. They're losing Taylor Adams to Sydney. That's the player, Taylor Adams. They're losing Taylor Adams to Sydney. And they also have Scott Pendlebury, still side bottom. Braden Maynard. And their players are arguably the best side in the league, Collingwood. They're just too good. I reckon they'll compete for the flag this year. But I reckon they won't get minor premiers and finish second. Moving on to the minor premiers. The Bridgie Lions. Jayden O'Callaghan's former team, the Brisbane Lions. But the Brisbane Lions finishing first in the table, in my opinion. Charlie Cameron, Lachie Neale, Brownlow medalist. What's the guy's name? Ford, Lincoln McCarthy, that's him. Lachie Neale, they have a lot of players. They're really good players. I just can't name any today. I don't have a good memory today. Have a little bit of a headache today while I'm filming this on the February 12th, which will be out in like March. But the Brisbane Lions being the minor premiers. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.